This is exciting.
Or like women don't always look kind of like lopsided.
Now look at Rochelle, how glamorous she looks, and look at me, who looks tired.
I
I could have put on some lipstick too. You know. Hi guys!
Why we sound like a chorus?
Hello guys! Spend enough time together, there's a synergy.
Welcome to our live. Happy to see you, happy to have you on. Do you have your journals out?
Yes. Ready.
You have your journal?
Yes, I have mine. I got mine printed.
Good job.
Okay, Marianne is here.
So we're gonna start in a few. Where's Nine?
She's on her way. She's coming through the door any minute now.
So just in case you're wondering where Naomi is, she's on her way.
So I think we should start with why do we have a reflection journal?
Yep.
Let's interview Rochelle. Why did we decide to create an Emerge reflection journal?
So one of the things that we thought about, and just in our personal lives, because we had done our own, we sat together and did our own vision boarding last year.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things we talked about is that it's sometimes a little difficult to get going with your vision board. And you know, sometimes you copy off of other people's vision board and you're wondering how their vision board full of so much things and you can't find two pictures because you're not even sure where you want to go. So we thought it would be good to guide you through a reflection of the past year, for you to kind of take a look at your life, so you can determine the things that you determine for the quality of life that you live. So your finances affect the quality of life, but they're certainly not all. And you notice we didn't put them first. We actually started out with your mindset.
Yeah.
So we looked at things like your mindset, your tribe, your crew, the people that you hang out with. You find that sometimes you're going through a period where you're not feeling so together, and then you hang out with your girls one night and you talk about the same things and laugh till your belly bottom drop out and you feel that all is well with the world. So we said before you actually start visioning, you have to look at where you're coming from. Very importantly, acknowledge all that you have achieved to get to where you are. And then recognize the gaps where you have them, the things that you've been dreaming of, that you've been afraid to set out, that you haven't done anything about. So this journal is your precursor to your goal setting.
Yeah. And I think it's very important for us to remember that we just start from wherever we are right now. You know, it's not about beating up yourself about the things that we didn't accomplish. It's about moving forward and realizing, okay, I didn't do this in 2019, so it's going to be on the top of my priority list for 2020. Hi, Nai!
Look who's here!
She's here, guys!
Hi! I'm not even sure where to look. There are so many cameras in here. But I wanted to add to that. I find that at the start of the year, it can feel very daunting and we get very caught up with, as Catherine said, you know, the things that we have not accomplished for the year. And we forget to actually look at even the little things, like some little things and some really big things that we accomplished the previous year. And then we can look back and say maybe some of those big things that we had to accomplish, maybe they don't even need to be back on the list for 2020 because of where you are in your journey. You probably don't even need that thing anymore. So I think it's really important, that reflection part, as we go into a new year to start another journey or another part of our journey.
Yes.
Came in at the right time.
Right time. Okay, guys, so we're going to start walking you through the reflection journal. I mean, we're not going to take up your night.
Reflection journal?
Yes, you may. There you go. And so, like Rochelle said, we wanted to start, of course, with our mindset. And so, the way that we think often impacts every single thing that we do.
But we have to start with victory.
Absolutely.
Because anything that we're starting, we always have to have a starting point that we are victorious. So we've already won, we just need to put the things in place.
Yeah.
So if you have your journals, if you don't, you know where you can get it.
Where can I get it?
Click on the link in our bio.
Have they seen like what are printed journals? So guys, I strongly recommend just getting it printed. It's really nice, and you can do all your stuff. It's nice, bad.
Okay, so I am victorious.
I am
victorious.
Are we saying it together at the same time?
You say
or you guys say it
first
first
and
and we say it?
Okay, I am victorious.
I am victorious.
I am a conqueror.
I am a conqueror.
I am destined for every success that is in the blueprint of my life.
I am destined for every success that is in the blueprint of my life.
Yay. So this is something that you can actually get up and say every single day to remind you that you're here, and you know you're focused, and you know what you're ready to accomplish. So over the last year, I could find if I could find three adjectives to describe myself or define myself, what would they be? And it's so important for us to really think about how we see ourselves, because how we see ourselves impacts every single other area of our life. You know, you walk into a room, and I just said this on Saturday. You walk into a room, and if you're not secure in who you are, you probably think that, oh, look on the girl over there, so she'll look for me. And the girl probably don't even see you, right? But then if you're confident in who you are, you know what purpose you serve, you know why you're here, and you're intentional about everything that you do, you walk into a room and your entire approach is different. You know, when Rochelle shows up into a room, it's, I'm here.
Yeah.
Because guess what? She knows that she's there for a reason. She knows that she's there to impact other people. She knows that she's there to to really make a mark. And so she's not caught up with who is looking at her sideways, you know, what other people are doing, because she's intentional about why she's in a room, and she knows what she contributes to that space that she's in. And so it's important for us to look at how we see ourselves, because how we see ourselves really impacts everything that we do. How we treat other people, the decisions that we make, the way that we carry ourselves, the way that we present ourselves. So what are the three adjectives that you would use to describe yourself or define yourself? Now, this one was hard for me. What's your theme song for the year? I think I went through so many different kinds of theme songs at different points throughout the year. So this one was really hard for me.
So what was it?
I didn't come up with one.
So
That's
give me
the
one of
thing.
them.
I have one.
Yes, tell us yours.
So there's this song called You Made a Way.
Yes.
It's a gospel song. I like even saying it.
Travis Green.
Yeah, it tears me up.
Yeah.
And so for last year, it was one of my years, probably the first year that I think I really had to release and trust God, because I have a little way of liking to write down checklists for just about everything in life and having a project plan. And allowing myself to trust that the Lord will actually make a way, you know, when you actually start believing it, not just saying it. And so it was funny. I always have like 10 theme songs in my head. And this was like the easiest thing for me, because I knew it was just, you made a way.
Yeah. I think Gracefully Broken was one of mine. It's by Tasha Cobbs. And it's not so much that I think last year was a year of, it was a different kind of breaking for me. I think I found myself in a place where I was stuck. I felt like, why am I here when you know you're not supposed to be here, and it's time for you to be out? And I was in that stuck place for like 10 months in one area of my life. And and you know, the funny thing is that, and I think a lot of us don't realize it, we can be progressing in so many different areas of our lives and be stuck in one area, and it like totally throws off everything.
It affects
else.
everything.
Yeah.
Because it throws everything out of balance.
Yeah. What's yours, Nine?
I don't have one yet. So I'm going to confess I haven't done my Emerge journal yet because I have to be in a very specific mindset, which is what we're starting with. And so I have to the right pets. I have like all the pens. I have to be in a specific mindset and in a very quiet space in order to really reflect. And I did a lot of reflections before the new year. And so I now have my printed copy of my Emerge journal. So I would use that over this weekend to now have my cup of coffee in a very quiet space and light 2 candles and then go through my journal.
And just in case anybody is on and they're thinking to themselves, "Whoa, you guys, your theme song was rather deep."
Yeah.
Remember, we have some side theme songs. So you know that song, "Independent Gal,
Number one trending girl.
That's your
That's my side gig. So your song is your song. Your 10 songs are your songs. Don't
I
worry.
think Shenseea Blessed is one of mine.
Yeah.
For sure.
You know what's one of my songs? Chronixx, I Am Legend.
Oh, I don't know.
That's
why.
like, that was
Yeah.
my,
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that
Yeah.
song.
Okay.
Okay, so a lot of the times when we go through our tough times or we have like a point when we just feel like I'm down in the dumps, there are words of encouragement that you have to remind yourself of. And if you don't have some, find some. Because it's always good to have them to go back to when you just, like, what are the words that you tell yourself when you just feel defeated?
I'm fearfully and wonderfully made.
And I say, I didn't come this far to only come this far.
Yeah. And you didn't wake up this morning to be
Mediocre.
okay. So it's important to write down words of encouragement and remind us of who you are, whose you are for those of you that believe in something more, more powerful than yourself.
Mhm.
And what are those words that get you through the tough times? You need to write it down so that you have that reminder. Put it on a post-it. Stick it in your bag, stick it on your desk, stick it somewhere.
On your bathroom mirror.
Exactly.
Somewhere where you know you're going to see it every day.
Yep.
Yeah.
I set and achieved these goals. What goals did you set and actually achieve last year? What were the goals that you achieved last year?
Oh my God. Why are you putting me on the spot?
Your bigger.
Oh yes. Okay. I spent a lot of time last year actually working on my own personal brand,
Yes.
even though I am a personal branding coach, because how are you going to teach what you don't know? And so last year was really my year to really build out that PR chick brand, and I tried a lot of different things, and now I can go into this year with a lot more clarity on what worked, what didn't work, what do I really love to do, what do I maybe not like to do so much. And so that was one of my big goals that I really went through last year. I'm still adding some things to that particular area as well.
I started my own company.
Woo! Oh, how could we not say we launched Emerge? That's like
Oh my
the
God.
biggest thing ever. We had 2 summits
Yes.
and like 6 workshops,
Only 6?
or maybe
Oh my
7.
gosh.
That's what we should have said first. We
Yes.
actually launched Emerge. That was the biggest.
Yeah.
And Rochelle and I both launched our new businesses.
Yay.
Yeah.
Like you have it done every year, you write it on the thing.
Yep. And we finally did it. Yes. And we both finished our John Maxwell certification.
Yes.
So we accomplished a lot of stuff last year. And you know what? Going into the year, I don't think
and Michelle.
some of the things that we accomplished we didn't plan for in the beginning of the year. But it's okay for your goals to change throughout the year. It's okay to make adjustments.
It's okay to take off some of
Yeah.
the goals that you started with as well, because as we spoke earlier, as you go through your own journey, other things happen, new goals come.
Yes.
Some of the old goals are not necessary anymore. They actually get to be cut off of the list.
Mhm.
And then you can add new ones, and that's okay.
This year I felt confident when, and this year I experienced self-doubt when. So in Naomi's personal branding book, what you call it? Workbook. The personal branding workbook.
That Catherine has like 100 copies of.
In Naomi's personal branding workbook, in the beginning, you go into some real introspection. And you start to talk about things like, if you ask 10 people what they think about you, what would they say? And it's an exercise that you do where you compare what other people say about you to how you see yourself.
Mhm.
And I think that for me was my first encounter really with self-doubt. Self-doubt from the perspective of, I don't really know what people think about me. And then
And they
hearing the
think
things
what
that
you
people,
actually think about
yeah,
you.
and it was totally different. And then, of course, my first speaking and my first emerge was definitely a period when I was just like, what are we doing?
Like, no, I don't need
Guys, can I say how much Catherine Goodall has emerged since that first speaking event at our Emerge Summit? Rochelle and I, we had one of our workshops and we both sat down there like, who is this person?
Yeah.
Look at Catherine.
Yeah. And a lot of that has to do with who you surround yourself with, guys.
And Circle of Genius is further on
it's
in the world.
everything.
Yeah.
All right.
So even for me, for the thing that I achieved this year, even going off on my own, and I advise like so many people setting up businesses and stuff, like I know all of the right things to do. I know what you need to put in place. And I kept saying, God, no, I can't do this. I kept delaying particular parts of it because I was like, no, but you can't actually do this. So it was a struggle actually stepping out. I see Renee Ratrion. Renee is part of my Circle of Genius tribe, my friend. And she also stepped out on her own. So we said that we just hold each other up and constantly just be checking in on each other, sharing ideas and stuff. And that gets us to
opportunities. What are the opportunities that you had last year that you jumped at? And I mean, mindset is important because a lot of the time when opportunities are presented to us, we don't know what to do with them. And you look at it from two perspectives. You look at it from the perspective that not every opportunity is a good opportunity. So you need to be able to discern what's the right fit for you. And that's based on what your plan is, where you want to go and what you want to accomplish, right? And then you have the opportunities that present themselves, and out of fear, you hold yourself back and you prevent yourself from grabbing that opportunity. And so what are the things that the opportunities that were presented to you that you didn't hesitate to just jump in?
But that's why clarity is so important.
Yeah.
Because there could be opportunities that are there for you that you don't even realize are your opportunities because you're not clear on what your vision is or what your purpose is or what your focus is. And so it all comes back down to just, you have to be very, very clear. And that's why even with the workbook, I had to start with the who am I question, because if you don't know who you are or where you want to go, then you're just doing everything or doing nothing, trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
So it does take, you have to sit down with yourself and really dig a little deeper to find out what is it that you really want to do.
I like what you said with that. Because one of the things with opportunities that we have to consider, sometimes the very crisis and most challenging experience of your life is the biggest opportunity. Sometimes we have to be literally shaken out of everything that makes us secure and comfortable for us to be able to make any kind of movement in life. So I encourage you, where you had any kind of major shake up of everything that you believe in, that you thought about yourself, look at that crisis and don't waste it. Never waste any crisis or challenge in your life because it was sent specially for that next step. Use it wisely.
Our dear friend Patrick Hilton said that. Every crisis is an opportunity.
To grow, to learn. So don't waste
and you may ball too, but I mean,
don't
think
lose the
about
lesson.
what will come after.
Yes.
At the Oprah conference last weekend, she said,
"Oh, you went to the Oprah conference?
Yeah.
Nice.
So
that was her plug to show up.
So she said, no. But she did say she uses this thing called sunrise faith, because she says every morning, no matter what kind of day she's had, she knows when she looks out her window, the sun is going to rise. So you have to have that kind of faith, knowing that regardless what has happened, the sun will come out tomorrow and you can have an opportunity to start a new day.
I'm going to New York to see Oprah and Michelle, FYI.
Rochelle, are you going?
I don't need to go there. Oprah is my best friend. I hang out at her yard.
Yes. So there are some things that we promised ourselves that we were going to achieve, and because of procrastination, we just didn't do it.
Talking about us?
We do it too.
I know we do it. I just
We
wasn't
do
sure
it.
you were
We do it too.
specifically talking to us, like, by the way, or if you were talking to the people that are watching.
Yeah, so all of us do it. We all procrastinate, and we just want to say that it's okay. it's okay, because at the end of the day, like I said from the beginning, right now it's about starting where you are.
Yeah.
So you look back at the things that you promised yourself you wanted to achieve, and like Naomi said earlier, you have to assess whether or not it's still something that you want to accomplish for 2020, or if it's something that you can say, okay, well, this was a nice to have, but time to refocus.
Right.
And also assess where that thing originated from.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did it originate from something in you that you felt passionate about? Because you see, when you really want something, you don't have to try to do it. You
Yeah.
end up doing it. Sometimes some things we have on our goals is because we see somebody else doing it, or somebody else set it out as a goal. It's not anything that we're truly passionate about, and then we beat ourselves up for not being able to accomplish it. So ask yourself, where did this particular goal come from? And is this goal something of me? Did it originate from something bubbling in me to achieve? But sometimes we have some things that are not really our goals.
No.
Take them off.
So you know what's funny? At the start of the year, someone had sent me a challenge, an abundance challenge, and one of the activities was to write 50 goals that I wanted to accomplish between now and over the next 10 years. But then you broke it out by 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, and 10. But then you're supposed to pick 4 goals that you really want to accomplish out of each of those time brackets. But then you had to now write down a paragraph about that specific goal, and then write another paragraph about why you chose that one as one of the 4. And as you're going through, you realize that maybe this goal is not so important.
Yeah.
Maybe this actually doesn't need to be my top 4 because the why isn't very strong.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a really good exercise, and I think you can incorporate it throughout the workbook, where as you're thinking about your goals, as Rochelle said,
What's
what's the why behind it?
Yeah.
Like, why is this such a strong goal for you? And is it really, you know, like,
Goals
is it
for
really a
you.
goal for you? And so that exercise was really eye-opening for me, because some of my 50 were not really,
cut?
they didn't need to be there.
Yeah. So we have some little demons sometimes that talk to us, and we need to acknowledge them, because when you're aware of it, you can deal with it. And so we ask questions like, when you felt fear, when were those moments that you felt fear?
Guys, for those just joining, remember you can always download your own copy of our Emerge journals by clicking the link in our bio.
When are the moments that you felt the fear, but you overcame it?
Yeah.
And when were those moments that you felt jealous? You know, sometimes you see people living their best life on Instagram, and you're like, I wish that, yeah, that was
them. Here, you know, eat them.
And if you didn't have those moments, more power to you. But are you being honest?
Somebody please come and get Rochelle. Cameron, please.
When were those moments that you stepped outside of your comfort zone? Because those are accomplishments that you want to remember. Because those were the times when you said, okay, I'm going to be brave. And when you step outside of your comfort zone, that pushes you to growth. And so it's like, you can't grow if you're in a place of comfort. You only grow outside of your comfort zone.
Yeah. Because your comfort zone actually is a zone.
Yeah.
So it just traps you in a level of comfort. And sometimes the discomfort that we feel is because we've gotten so comfortable that we're downright bored out of our minds. And we have these other things, these other whys that we're not tapping into. Some of it is out of fear. Some of it is that we stay in our comfort zone because we're busy watching other people and being jealous of their lives.
But not making a
But
move.
not making
Nothing.
up with
Doing
our
nothing.
lives. Yeah. So, and the good thing with the comfort zone is, I believe that God sometimes takes us out of it and just fling we out.
I feel like
all three of
sometimes
us.
God just clap a box.
Yeah, it's like, come out.
Like just say,
Yeah.
oh, let me show you what's happening here.
And then you have those moments where you think you're comfortable, and when reality sets in, I remember the night before Emerge, the first summit. The 3 of us were there with Keisha, packing boxes with our volunteers, packing boxes, and after everybody left, it was just the 4 of us that were left. And the 3 of us just broke down. We're crying and laughing at the same time. We're crying and laughing at the same time because we're
Like,
so
what
we're
are
like,
we
what are we doing?
I feel like we could write a book about
The
Emerge.
first Emerge summit.
Yeah.
Not just the first.
Yeah.
And
So
then the
this
next
entire
morning,
journey.
so we left there like at what, 3 o'clock, and we're back for 7. And we're like, okay, nobody's coming. The parking lot is going to be empty. And by the time we
Rochelle would
went
not
outside,
come out of the dressing
Rochelle would
room.
not. You guys never know.
She would not come out of the dressing
Rochelle
room.
refused
She
to
was
come
like,
out of the
just
dressing room.
oh, somebody's watching us from Dubai.
Hi. And so when the parking lot was full,
And we
people
said, well, like,
actually-
Rochelle, the parking lot is full. People are here.
I was
people
just
came
sitting in
up
the corner like,
early.
okay, if we just gather a group of people and take a picture of them, it looks like no people are here.
No, it was amazing. It was absolutely.
But I'm gonna tell you that Emerge took us
Completely
way
out.
out of our comfort zone.
Oh.
In every
single
aspect of the journey.
Even
From
though these
meeting
are
with
things that we do in our
sponsors,
day-to-day.
It was just a lot.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
But you know, Kathy, we jumped over successes of my friends and family, and I
Yes.
actually want to touch on this in a way that I want something I'm going to ask you guys to do this year. There are certain things that you have wanted for your own life that sometimes.
We're so sorry.
Sorry about
I
that.
apologize.
He's gonna call it right back.
Sometimes there are particular things that you want for your own life that you haven't been able to get to at a particular point. And you may have a friend who has the same dream as you. And there's a certain power in releasing what you want to embrace praying for somebody else and their dreams and supporting their dreams.
Yeah.
There's this power in what we release, the blessings that we release for ourselves. And there's a good feeling when you are happy for the success of somebody who is achieving your goal.
Yeah.
If nothing else, it shows you it can be done.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a certain power and freedom that you cause for yourself when you can celebrate in a true fashion. Not a celebrate, me glad for you, but I shoulda did me.
Yeah.
Just I am glad for you, full
Period.
stop, and I will do everything to support this happening for you.
Mm-hmm.
I encourage you that for you to, and those persons who pray a lot, pray for people, for even things that you want for yourself. Yeah, man, you don't know. Yes. So I'm asking you all, as a part of what you do, when you do your gratitude meditation, whatever you do that just acknowledges and slows you down, think of people that you're happy for and say, Lord, I'm so grateful that you did this for this person. And also think, Lord, I'm praying that this will happen for this other person. Not that it will happen after it happens for me. I just want this for them too. There's such a freedom in the joy that you can feel for other people, that a real, true joy that is so beautiful.
You know, I had a very humbling moment last week. There's a young lady who found out via social media that her husband was cheating on her. And she, on social media, prayed for her husband and for the young lady that was
in the situation.
But you know, when somebody prays from a genuine place of care and concern and love and like, God, they're hurting, and so fix the hurt type place. And I was just like, this is the kind of grace that I need to get to.
Yeah. But also that when you've been praying for something for yourself and you see somebody else get that something, like married, one new car, the house where you dream of in the area, go and drink out your wine and say, thank God, give me some more rich friends.
So, back on track. What are the things that didn't go according to plan? And why didn't they go according to plan? Because, you know, like we said before,
guys, don't mean to disturb. Keisha, you just want to open that door. I think my menopause is pausing on me.
Why didn't it work out? Why didn't it go according to plan? What are the lessons that we can learn from the things that didn't work out?
Why did those doors close to?
Yeah.
Maybe they were actually
to be closed.
To be closed.
Yeah. Or was it my attitude that was wrong? You know, am I the reason that the door closed?
Mhm.
And what are the things that exceeded your expectations? Because those are the things that you want to remember. You know, count the wins. And Naomi said it earlier. A lot of the time we focus on the things that didn't go well, the things that we didn't do. But what are the things that we did well, that went right, and that happened when we didn't even expect it to happen?
Mhm. Actually, I usually try to do this at the start of the year with my team at GC, where we sit down and write about, same thing I said, all the things that we accomplished in 2019, the little things and the big things. And I remember we did it the year before, and one of my team members, she was actually the valedictorian for her graduating class at UE. She didn't have that on her list because she just didn't remember.
Yeah.
And that's a huge accomplishment. But that's what happens. We just get caught up in
What didn't happen?
what hasn't happened yet, or just other things that you actually forget some of the really great things that happened in your life.
Yeah.
So it's important.
Yeah. And what are the things that happen in your life that maybe nobody else knows about that you know you deserve an award for?
Yeah.
What are the things that you said, yes, I nailed this?
My doctor always says you must clap yourself.
Yes.
So
So
go
clap
clap
yourself.
Big up Dr. Bambury.
All right. Circle of genius. What does that mean? And how is it different from your tribe?
Yeah. So your circle of genius, your tribe are your peeps. So let's start with who your tribe are. And one of the things that, as we were preparing this, we kept asking people, name 2 people in your tribe, because you know that you know who your real ride or die. So sometimes on Instagram we put hashtag ride or die, but them is only a ride, not a die. Eh? And then you have another set of friends that sometimes you don't even pay them enough mind, you know. But you see,
Those are the dying.
when the proverbial filth hits the fan, they are there with it dropping on them, right? No questions asked. They don't ask. And you know, sometimes you have that one friend that you can't tell her anything that somebody do because she take off her
She
shoes
just done
already,
them.
and she's like, where them there? And we have a lot of other people that we know. They like our pictures. They'll comment on it. When we see them, we hug them and we give them ear kisses and how you doing, darling? All is well. The kids are good. And you really don't care, nor do they care about you. And I was telling girls earlier that someone had called me doing the journal and had said the question that stumped them was, who would I call in a crisis? If there was an emergency, who could I depend on calling? And sometimes we are the cause of that because we haven't been feeding those relationships that matter. So those are your tribe. Those are the people that are in you, with you through that war. No questions asked. Then you have persons who sometimes you don't even talk to. You may like, well, not like me and Oprah, because remember Oprah is my friend. They have to go and see Oprah in a big stadium. But me and Oprah are like, we're friends. Yeah. Oprah, she on. So for Nye and Kathy, Oprah would be one of the people in their circle of genius. Yeah, no,
Or the air kisses.
no, the ear kisses too. But that's like an ear kiss from Oprah. So what happens in the circle of genius? These are persons that mentor you sometimes without even knowing that they're mentoring you. These are persons that you may fashion your life. You don't grudge their life, but you see that they do things that make things appear possible and you want to follow the steps. These are people sometimes that you work with. When you think of something like spiritual guidance, you know, you have some prayer warriors in your life that them just send the message at the right time. Like they know your inner being. Amazing stuff. And these resources, these are like your team, you know. And they are uniquely placed in your life, or you'll uniquely reach out to ensure that they're a part. So who provides you career guidance? You know, who will help you set up your CV? Who will tell you that, listen, you know, say it's time that you need to move on and move out. I am tired of hearing you bleating about your job. What are we going to do about it? When you think Remember when we did the money moves workshop? Janice Williams, hi Jan, if you're there, had attended, and she told us the most amazing story about her friends gathering together, and they would have these sessions where they would discuss money and wealth creation, new IPOs that came out. Now, can you imagine if sometimes you and your friends didn't just gather together, like we can gather together and drink wine while we review an IPO? You know about a particular opportunity and you're sharing it with this group of people. And sometimes it's people on your WhatsApp group, etc. And relationship guidance, what I'll just leave is that it may be useful for someone who knows about your relationship to help to guide you. That's all I will say. Then there's knowledge building. Who will tell you about the last book that they read, that you need to get this book? Better yet, I stop by your house and I drop off a copy of the book. Hurry up and read it. Yeah, that's nice. Nice is that part of the tribe. Now, there is something spectacular when that happens, when your tribe and your circle of genius come together. Yeah.
Is this us? Aww, we're both.
And I think one thing that we need to also point out, especially when you talk about the conversations that you have with people, a lot of us growing up in Jamaica, we're taught not to talk about his salary because that's rude and all these other things. But right, and reality is that, I mean, thank God for our friends, because we are very open with each other. I mean, I get a job offer, I call Rochelle and I'm just like, this is how much money.
Well, you know, that's a very funny conversation, because I'm in a lot of different groups of friends. And in this group, I know that I could come to you guys about that kind of stuff. But it's actually a conversation I was having with another friend, really close friend of mine. Actually, we've been talking about it for the last couple of days. The fact that, well, and this is probably something we should address in one of our workshops. Women do not share information. We don't talk about our salaries. We don't talk about things happening in our careers. We don't ask for advice. Actually, when I was still in corporate Jamaica, not with my own company, I would actually ask men for information about, like, if I were applying for a job or a salary increase, about that kind of stuff, which to me is very sad. So I actually took it up on myself, I think to the annoyance of some of my friends this week that still work for companies, to ask them, what's the salary? Because I'm curious to know, because I know about things happening in the industries too. And I'd like to be able to say to you, hey, that's great, or no, do you know that you actually should be making this much money and this should be the kind of benefits and package that you have? We don't talk about that stuff, and that's a problem for me.
Absolutely. And we're not saying that you're going to go on a stage and tell people how much money.
No.
Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. It's payday, and this is how much is on my stove.
And it's called your circle of genius and your tribe for a reason. It's people that you can trust, that you know have supposed to be people that you can trust, that have your best interests at heart.
Right.
It's people that you know are giving you this information to help equip you to make the right decisions. Right? If I get a contract or a job offer, I got a job offer the other day, a contract, and Rochelle and I sat down and went through it with a fine-tooth comb. Right? And these are the people that you want in the circle of genius. People that are going to look at you and say to you, this is not the right move for you. Or yes, this is the right move for you.
Or this is the right move for you, but I think you could get some more money.
And also, team, when people talk to you about these things and say, listen, I don't think this is the right move. Let's not start, if this is a trusted resource that you have. Sometimes we get excited about a particular move and they're like, I don't really see you doing this, you know. And secretly we're saying, because you grudge me. Don't look at it that way. Don't. Because you know, and sometimes if you're doubtful, you're like excited and you're like, why aren't you excited about it? And they sometimes can go back and say, let's look back at your goals. How is this moving you forward? That's not the kind of culture that you will thrive in. You have to have those people, and that you have to be able to trust them.
So thanks to NTB Capital Markets, we learned a lot this year about money.
Yeah.
I mean, and for us to even be able to put this reflection journal together, you know that we've grown a lot and learned a lot about finances, about wealth creation, about budgeting. And so we need to look at our money. And remember, in the first Emerge Summit, the theme was becoming the CEO of your life. And it's about looking at your life as a business. And if we're going to do that, we have to know how much money we're making. How did you make your money last year? Is it just from your 9 to 5? Did you have another source of income? What did you use that money for? Right? Did you pay yourself first? So even if you have a job and you get a salary, the first thing that you do is you pay yourself first. You know how much expenses you have throughout the month, right? You know, if some of us have loans, whether it's a student loan, a mortgage, whatever the case is, you know what those expenses are. But then you also know how much money you have left over. And when you pay yourself first, that's the money that comes out that you use to invest. That's the money that you use to save. That's to use the money. For some of you can use a little bit of it to spend on shoes.
I definitely believe in celebrating small and big wins, but
that don't mean buying new shoes every month.
Correct. But I definitely understand the power and value of investing much better now.
And what we encourage you to do, we are at a very interesting time in Jamaica and just worldwide. And you see all of these IPOs that are coming out. I know
initial public offer for those people that don't know what an IPO is.
That's what you know, that we just say it sometimes.
Yeah.
That's actually why I was late. I was actually at an investor briefing for an IPO.
Yeah, actually somebody asked me about an IPO the other day. But you know what? Sometimes it's good that they asked about the IPO. And I said it's not an IPO, just for other groups, it's an IPO. And so even for me, when I get an IPO document to look at, sometimes they're kind of big and I look to see if any pictures are in there. Because it's not really my area of expertise. So what I do is that I've sat down with a couple of my friends who know what they're talking about and ask them, what should I be looking for? And I make sure that I go to them. And then NCB Capital Market sends me these investor briefings with what you should buy, what you shouldn't, and so on. It's very good to sit with people who know what they're doing. You're not expecting, if you're not in finance, you're not expected to know everything, but you know where you're at you put yourself at a disadvantage where you can, the resources are at our fingertips now. We can Google it and get the information, ask the questions, be a part of what is going on, and then don't keep letting it leave you behind. So sometimes we could trade a shoe to buy a few shares. So like last year, one of the things I was really proud of is Nai had actually pushed me in Naja to do some investment and to buy shares. Make I tell you, I get dividend check. Sometimes a $600 deposit check. I feel good. I want everybody to know. I was like, I get a dividend check. I feel so important. So having started the process in a more serious manner and being able to see, so I'm starting to look for things going to the AGMs because I'm a shareholder and I want to ask questions and I'm actually seeing the value. It may be $600 on it, but it's $600 that I didn't have before.
Right. And I mean, we also need to be conscious of how we spend our money, right? What are the things that we're doing with our money? And in 2020, what can we do without? Because sometimes in order to gain things, we have to lose other things. You have to just let things go, right? I have consciously engaged in a savings plan over the last 12 months. And how do you save? Saving doesn't just come from putting money aside. Savings comes from investments. And some people, like for me, I know that I have to get rid of the money before I see it. And so I have insurance. I have life insurance, I have critical illness, I have all kind of different kind of insurance because that's how I save. I just get rid of the money and some of that money I also put to investing and then some of it goes to my pension because that's how I save. And I always max out my pension. I give 20%, right? And you don't have to work for somebody to have pension. My pension right now, I pay for myself. It's not from my company that I work for. It's my own money that I put aside 20% that is tax-free to save.
And you know, we always feel when you get that pension statement, so like when you leave in a job and stuff, and it gives you the ticks of what the options that you have. And sometimes when you look at the amount of money that has accumulated, immediately your eyes, like stars come in your eyes,
Yeah.
and you're like, you know, what I could do with this money. And most people that remove their monies from pension plan, they yam it out.
Dash out. Yeah.
Dash out. So especially when you get to a certain age, like when you start working, leave the monies in the pension plan. And if you make it to 65, there's nothing like getting to 65
knowing that
and
you
having
don't have to worry.
nothing. And there's nothing like getting there and knowing that you put certain things in place.
And your credit cards, how do we use our credit cards? You know, a lot of us think that credit card is free money until the interest rates start lick you. You know, Nasha will tell you that you only use your credit card when you know you can pay it off, right? And now a lot of the time, the credit cards have points. You have all kind of things that you can use it for. So like me, I use my credit card just for the points,
Yeah.
right? Because let me tell you, I bought a few plane tickets from those points.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But the important thing is that when
Pay it
you're
off.
using the money, you're also paying it off because
Yeah.
it doesn't go away.
And some people, it's good to have a credit card for emergency, even if you don't use it,
Yeah.
because you never know.
Mhm.
You know, a lot of the time when we talk about saving, you know, they tell you that you should have 3 to 6 months of salary, which whatever that is, whatever you pay yourself, because whether you're an entrepreneur or an intrapreneur, you're supposed to be paying yourself. And so they say that, you know, for a rainy day, for cash, you should have 3 to 6 months, and that's my goal for this year, because I don't have that, right? So what's your retirement plan? How do you save? Use what you can pay, exactly. So there's a young lady online, her name is Casita, and I use her as an example all the time. I spoke about her in our workshop the other day, and I was saying, you making $20,000 a month, right? And then you move from $20,000 a month and you're making $300,000 a month, and she's still living off of the $20,000.
Wow.
These are
That's
hypothetical
impressive.
numbers, by the way, right?
Oh my gosh, look, Kimala Bennett is on
Hi,
the line.
Kimala.
I remember Kimala's company, The Lab, launched an IPO.
But you know,
Yeah.
Kamala was speaking recently about when she had her apartment and how she refused to move out of it into something bigger, even when she started making more money. So remind me of what you just said about the $20,000, because she treated it like her mansion. She
Yeah.
said, like, so she fixed it up nice so that it was her
Yes.
mansion, because she knew she was staying there until it was time for her to move on.
Yeah.
Hope you don't mind
she has her
sharing that,
family now.
Kamala. But I mean, that was
But you know, when we talk
eye-opening
about
for me.
celebrating successes, Kimala is a very
Huge.
young
Yeah.
woman, and
And she's a
Had-
billionaire, according to
had-
everybody from SB Capital Markets. With a B.
actually went out and did something that years ago we wouldn't have thought that women would have been able to do. So we can look at what Kimala has done and we can know that it can be
Possible.
done. Let's use it as an inspiration. Kimala can be a part of your circle of genius, just even looking to see what her approach was. You can find her, Google her, and you'll find her story. And she was also on Profile.
That's
So
a
you can
big
watch
deal.
it. Yeah.
She's also an author, but you know, we're still waiting on the reprints of those books, Kimala. Just saying.
Just love
So
her.
guys, in everything that we do, we have to remember that we have to take care of ourselves in the process, right? And a lot of the time we get so caught up in life that we don't stop to take care of us. I
Yeah.
told my team up to today that we have to remember that we're replaceable, right? If we drop down tomorrow, life goes on without us. Yeah, people will cry and then will remember us, but the reality is that life goes on.
Yeah.
And so we have to remember that our health and wellness, and our health, when we talk about health, we're not just talking about physical health,
Right.
right? Our mental health is critical, right? Stress is something.
Burnout is real. It's a real
Yep.
thing. And I experienced that this year
Yeah.
for sure. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and
Self-care
stress
is
is
critical.
something.
Oh. Rochelle has
Ignore
a time
limit.
limit.
Put ignore limit.
Sorry, guys.
Ignore limit for today. That's
Sorry about that.
So
Yes.
Rochelle has a time limit for social media on her thing.
Take a page out of that book.
Which just popped up and said you have reached your limit for today. So we had to ignore the limit for social media for today
Yeah.
so that we could continue our live on her device.
And it's funny because we're actually at spiritual growth. And one of the things
That's
that I
hilarious.
found is that, like, I was thinking of how much time, you just stop and scroll through on social media. And I was like, I wonder if probably I use some of that time to do meditation from a prayer time where I'm praying for people, thinking about next steps. And so I said, probably I could use that time. So I still scroll through and have a great time on Instagram, but I have set a limit for myself.
I love that.
Which is
Yeah.
important.
I'm gonna do that too.
And we'll talk about spiritual time and even our total health and wellness. It's about taking the time for yourself. Enjoy your own company. Take the time to just decompress and disconnect from the world. Because at the end of the day, you have to refuel. There has to come a point where you disconnect from everything around you and you start to feel yourself.
Yeah.
Right? We talk about stress management. Stress is something that will physically make you sick.
Yeah. So I actually, when I know personally, when I'm starting to get burnt out, I get physically sick. Like I'll get a really, really bad case of the flu or something. Like it's like literally my body starts to shut down and I can't function. And then when you're like that, you can't be of service to your team, to whatever company you work for, to your children, your spouse, whoever.
Yeah.
So you have to be aware of your body and notice signs. And I kind of always know the signs, and for some reason I just run myself ragged anyway. But I'm going to be a lot more mindful going into this new year about that.
Somebody wants to know, how do you
set the limit? But before that, somebody asked a question about having savings in their savings account and wanting to know. One of the things I encourage you to do, the good thing is that we're at a time where pretty much all of the banks have an investment arm.
Yeah.
NCB Capital Markets, we would encourage you strongly to visit, because what you have is different investments. So they will usually do a profile of you to see what type of investor you are.
Yeah.
There's so
High
many
risk, moderate,
instruments,
or low risk.
or low risk. There are equities that you can invest in,
Bonds.
that you can invest in.
Yeah.
So don't try to figure it out, but it's good that you recognize. I think it's Pendix that asked that question.
Yeah.
Head it to an investment advisor. And don't think that you have to have a certain amount. Go with what you have,
Yeah.
and go with who will take.
You don't
what
need
have.
$1 million to start an
Exactly.
investment account. And there are lots of companies that will take a lot less.
Well,
than
I got
$100.
so I actually had someone from NCB Capital Markets come in to speak to my very young team about investing and about IPOs, etc. And they all opened their first equity account with NCB Capital Markets. And they started with, I think, maybe as little as $20,000 or between 10 and 20 just to start. And now they've seen with the IPO that they invested in, they've already started to see the returns, and now they're more excited about it.
And I mean, you look at an IPO like Wigton, for argument's sake, and that's what I think made everybody in Jamaica become aware of
Right.
what an IPO is. You're buying a share for 50 cents.
Yeah.
Right? And the minimum purchase was 2,000 Jamaican dollars. And you tripled your return in the first 2 days. So it's just a matter of we talked about knowledge building earlier, and this is another element of knowledge building. Getting to know and understand different ways that you can create wealth. And creating wealth is not about saving. It's about multiplying your money, not just adding. Right?
Somebody asked the question, how will you set the limit
On social media.
On social media. So hear me to myself now. I hope Alex, know, come in. So what happened is I have an iPhone because I'm a high person.
Yes.
I
Yes.
hide things. And the phone actually did tell me, it gave me a graph and showed me how much time I spent on social media, and it did shame.
Samsung does that too.
And it actually, it said, it asked if I wanted to set a time limit. But in the meantime, we're going to find out what I had actually done to set a time limit.
so you go to settings,
Go to settings.
and then you scroll to
To
screen time, and then you go to app limits, and you turn it on. And then you can set your time limit. But Russia's zone is 4 hours. So I think we need to minimize
No, it's
that.
not 4 hours. It's 4 hours. That's not right.
Oh, that's not Russia's phone. Sorry. Keisha, we need
You
to
see
fix that.
how you just So mine is actually
How long is yours?
So Pendix says, yes, thank you, but I did that and they tell me to continue to invest in farming and I did. I'm in Dubai and I still raise a lot of cows still.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
And farming and agriculture, maybe your agricultural development in Dubai is better than ours in Jamaica. But you can invest. Did everybody online know that Jamaica is one of the top 5 stock markets in the world right now? I have to give my country a big up for that.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
And you can invest from overseas.
And you can invest from overseas. If you look at NCB's Go IPO Pendix, you'll be able to see, and you can actually get shares, buy shares on the Jamaican stock market from there.
Yeah. And the thing too is that sometimes your investment may be in a particular thing, in a business, say farming, where you will pour much of your resources into building that. That is also an investment.
Yeah. And so I want us to not jump over the health and wellness. And guys, spend the time to go through your spiritual health and wellness. Spend the time to go through your physical and mental health and wellness. What are the things that we're going to do this year that are different from what we did last year? How are we going to improve and grow? If we're going to the gym 3 times a week and you don't have to go to the gym, you can walk. I started walking Jack's Hill at least 3 times a week, minimum. And then I started walking in the mornings and in the evenings. And now I'm back at the gym. Praise the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
We only have 4 minutes.
Yes.
Okay. Also the page on adventure.
Ooh.
Adventure fun is very important. Sometimes that is a critical missing element.
Yeah.
And adventure doesn't have to cost us a lot. Sometimes all you need is to put some gas in your car and you and some of your friends or you and your family head down to Frenchman's Cove. When you're going, no matter where you're looking at the bath suit, just go.
Just go. Laughter, give back, gratitude. All of those go hand in hand. And why is it so important?
Yeah, and so give back, and give back can be in so many different ways. You know, we can give back time. You know, sometimes with give back, we're always concerned with a monetary give back. Yeah. But the biggest give back many times we can give is our time.
Mm-hmm.
And sharing
and talent.
Using that time to share our talents. It is so powerful. So a lot of what all 3 of us do is that a lot of our speaking engagements, we do set aside time that we give back for our speaking engagements to various groups.
Mm-hmm.
There is something that's so powerful about being able to share of yourself for nothing, just to share of yourself. And there you feel such a sense of joy knowing that you have shared, that we really encourage you to make sure you spend some time asking, how much time do I have per month? And don't set weekly lofty goals. Set a monthly goal that you'll even spend an hour. Mm-hmm. And sometimes give back is that you have a particular skill set. There's somebody in your organization that needs to learn it. They're maybe doing their MBA. And you say, I will give you extra lessons because I know you don't understand the maths. The good on the maths, so I will help you with it. And
in a digital age, it's so much easier to give of your time and of your talents. I mean, it could be, Naomi gives the journals and workbooks free all the time because she wants to help people to grow in a different area.
And that gives me, I feel very fulfilled. Yeah, I really like doing that.
So what kind of adventures are we going to go on this year?
I don't know.
What kind of adventures are you guys going on this year?
I'm 40 this year, guys. So I'm ready for adventure. I'm ready.
What is that?
So any ideas, I will take the suggestion.
Yeah, like something like super adventurous. Yeah, what kind of things are you guys doing for? I mean, some adventure.
So even when this thing
ideas.
closes in 1 minute and 13 seconds, we can still continue the conversation in our DMs and on our page.
Yes.
So you can still message us. Tell us what your adventures are for 2020. And we definitely want to hear from you and how your experience is going with this journal. For those who are just joining us, remember you can download our Emerge journal for free on our, if you are on our mailing list, you would have gotten it for free. Mm-hmm. And then we have it available for those that are not on the mailing list for only $7. Yeah. That's a box lunch.
Yeah.
right?
And we should come to Dubai.
And we want to come to Dubai. And we want to come to Cuba.
I want to come to Cuba. We want to go all the places. All the places. So guys,
When is the next emerge?
February 29th.
29th.
You'll see more details coming real soon.
Yeah.
Real soon.
Yeah. Very soon.
Oh, we're done?
Yes.
Bye. We didn't get to say bye.
So guys, for those of you that are still with us on Facebook, thank you for joining us.
Yes, this is our first time doing our
Facebook
live
Live.
on Facebook.
Yeah.
I didn't even know where to look. There were too many things happening here.
You know, I have this thing in the middle of my head. It's bothering me. Does it go away?
All right.
Guys, we're so happy to have you join us. We love sharing with you. We love having you as a part of our Emerge team. And we encourage you, just go forth in 2020. Set aside the fear, step out of those comfort zones, and treat every day like it's the last day of your life. So you're going to go hard and done.
Yep, all in.
All
All
in.
in. Happy New Year!
Happy New Year.
And we'll see you soon.
Bye.